Life has a way of surprising us. And sometimes the most unexpected discoveries can change everything. In today's story, we follow Lily, a woman who thought she had found the perfect partner in Ethan, only to uncover a hidden part of his past that shakes her world. As secrets are revealed, emotions run high, and the couple must confront the truth in order to move forward together. Will their love survive the weight of the past? Let's dive into their journey. Life stories. Subscribe now to start today's story. Lily slowly opened her eyes, the soft morning light peeking through the curtains, and she felt the familiar warmth of her husband, Ethan, beside her. His chest rose and fell in a steady rhythm, and for a brief moment, she admired the peacefulness of his sleep. They had been married for only 3 months, and despite the challenges that came with starting a life together, Lily felt a sense of completeness she hadn't known before. There was something magical about this phase, the discovery of each other. The subtle enchantment that came with learning every little detail about your partner. About the person you had chosen to share your life with. Ethan wasn't what Lily had initially imagined for herself. He was 38, older than she had expected her partner to be, and had a reserved manner that, at first, made her feel insecure. He wasn't loud or boisterous, not like the men Lily had been around in the past. But there was something deeply reassuring about his quiet strength, something she had come to admire more than words could describe. He worked as an architect at a well-known firm in the city. And his dedication to his work, his relentless pursuit of perfection, was something Lily found not only admirable but deeply attractive. At 32, Lily was an engineer, medium in height with short hair and honey-colored eyes that had a smile capable of lighting up any room. She had always been the one people turned to for help, with a calm and soothing presence that made everyone feel safe. She first met Ethan at a co-working space, a place where people came to work but, perhaps more importantly, a place where connections were made. She had been waiting for a client to arrive for a meeting when she noticed Ethan sitting at a table nearby, surrounded by blueprints and project sketches. His focus was absolute, his concentration so intense that it seemed as though he were oblivious to the world around him. Lily couldn't help herself, she found herself stealing glances at him, fascinated by the way he immersed himself in his work, the sound of his pencil on paper, the way he meticulously drew, as though the lines he created were not just design but a piece of himself, was captivating. It was in that moment, without thinking, that he had looked up from his work. Their eyes met, and the rest, as they say, was history. What began as a casual conversation between two strangers soon evolved into something deeper. Something neither of them had expected. They found themselves talking about everything and nothing, life, aspirations, dreams, and even trivial things like the best coffee spots in the city. Ethan had invited her to join him for coffee, and without hesitation, she had accepted. They became inseparable from that day forward, and their relationship grew stronger with each passing day. Lily carefully lifted herself from the bed so as not to disturb Ethan's peaceful slumber. It was a Saturday, and she had decided to prepare a special breakfast for the two of them. She made her way downstairs, her heart light and happy as she imagined the smile that would light up Ethan's face when he saw the breakfast she had planned. The house they shared was a cozy 2-story building in a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of the city. A place that had quickly become a sanctuary for both of them. The kitchen, spacious and well lit with a large window overlooking the backyard garden, was the heart of the house. It was here that they shared countless meals, laughed over burnt toast, and made memories that were small but precious. Lily began preparing waffles and cutting up fresh fruit. As she worked, her mind wandered to the life she had built with Ethan in just a few short months. Everything had changed so quickly, but in the best possible way. She had never imagined that marriage, a concept that had always seemed distant, could feel so fulfilling, so complete. Ethan wasn't just her husband, he was her best friend, her confidant, her safe haven, and in the moments when the world outside felt too heavy, he was the person she turned to for comfort, for reassurance. Half an hour later, Ethan appeared at the top of the stairs, drawn by the delicious aroma filling the house. His eyes lit up when he saw Lily in the kitchen, and without a word, he wrapped his arms around her from behind, planting a gentle kiss on her neck. "Good morning, my love," he whispered, his voice still thick with sleep. "This all smells so wonderful." Lily smiled, turning in his arms to face him. "Good morning, sleepyhead. I thought we deserved a special breakfast today." They sat down together at the kitchen table, sharing a moment of quiet joy as they discussed their plans for the weekend. Ethan mentioned that he needed to finish some details on an important project for work. And Lily, always eager to help, offered to organize his home office after breakfast. Ethan excused himself to take a shower. And Lily, already feeling the excitement of the day ahead, decided to start tidying up his office. The room was smaller than the others in the house but cozy, with a large dark wood desk and shelves filled with books on architecture and design. As she began to organize some papers scattered across the table, her eyes caught the edge of a drawer that was slightly ajar. Curious, she opened it fully, looking for a pen that Ethan always said he had misplaced. Instead, her fingers brushed against something hidden at the bottom. It was a photograph, a wedding photo, yellowed with age but still in good condition. Lily's heart skipped a beat as she pulled it out. The image showed a younger Ethan, smiling beside a woman with dark hair and bright eyes, another bride. But not Lily. Her breath caught in her throat. 1,000 questions flooded her mind as she held the photograph, unable to look away. Who was this woman? Why had Ethan never mentioned a previous marriage? What else was he hiding? The ground beneath her seemed to disappear as she struggled to process the flood of emotions that overwhelmed her. She quickly slipped the photo back into the drawer, closing it carefully as she tried to steady her breathing. Her mind raced, her heart pounded in her chest, and she feared that Ethan could hear it from across the house. When Ethan entered the office a few moments later, he immediately noticed that something was wrong. Lily was sitting in the chair, her expression distant, her eyes focused on nothing in particular. "Lily, is everything okay?" he asked, his voice tinged with concern. She tried to smile, but the gesture didn't reach her eyes. "Yes, just a little tired. I think I'll rest for a bit." Ethan watched her leave the room, a furrow of concern creasing his brow. As Lily walked upstairs, the weight of the discovery began to settle over her like a heavy blanket. She didn't know what to think or how to feel. But one thing was clear. There was a secret, one that could change everything. The rest of the day seemed to blur for Lily. She tried her best to act normal, to engage in their usual conversations about the plans for the house or the small things that made their life together so comfortable. But inside, her mind was in turmoil. The image of that wedding photo, the woman in Ethan's past, kept playing on a loop in her thoughts. Her heart ached as she wondered what it meant. Who was she? Why had Ethan never mentioned her? Lily was no stranger to the idea that people had pasts, that everyone came with their own histories. She herself had had relationships before Ethan. But this felt different. Ethan had always been open with her about so many things, his work, his family, his dreams, but this one part of him, this woman, was a chapter he had kept hidden. The more she thought about it, the more her mind raced with questions. Why had he kept it from her? What was the significance of this secret? That night, as they lay in bed, the tension between them was palpable. Ethan seemed to sense that something was off. He had been trying to get Lily to open up all day. But each time he approached the subject, she would change the topic or give an evasive answer. He wasn't used to this distance between them, and it was making him uncomfortable. Lily lay beside him, her mind a whirlwind of emotions. But sleep refused to come. The silence of the night only amplified the turmoil inside her. Every creak of the house, every breath Ethan took beside her, seemed to magnify the weight of the unspoken words that hung between them. How could she bring it up? How could she confront him about something so deeply personal? Something that could change everything? Sunday morning arrived, and Lily felt no better. She had tried to ignore it, tried to push the discovery out of her mind. But the questions persisted. Was she not enough for Ethan? Was there more to his past that she didn't know? She needed answers. She couldn't live with the uncertainty anymore. It was early afternoon when she finally found the courage to speak. They were sitting in the living room, the television on, but neither of them was really watching it. The room was quiet, the only sound the soft hum of the television in the background. Ethan looked at her, his eyes filled with concern. But Lily took a deep breath, gathering all her strength. Ethan, I need to ask you something. Her voice trembled slightly, betraying the emotions she had been bottling up. Ethan turned to her, sensing the gravity of the moment. Of course. Lily, what's going on? Lily hesitated for a moment, her fingers twisting in her lap as she searched for the right words. Yesterday, when I was tidying up your office, I found something. She took another deep breath before continuing. I found a wedding photo. Ethan, but it wasn't me. The woman in the photo wasn't me. The room went still. Ethan's face paled at her words. And for a long moment, he remained silent, his eyes reflecting a mix of sadness and regret. Lily watched him carefully, her heart pounding in her chest. She had waited for this moment all weekend, and now that it was here, it felt almost unreal. Finally, Ethan spoke, his voice low, filled with emotion. Lily, I'm so sorry, I should have told you before. He began, his voice shaky as he looked away for a moment. Gathering himself, her name was Olivia, she was my wife, and she passed away a few years ago. Lily blinked in surprise. Of all the scenarios that had played out in her mind, this was not one of them. She had imagined many things. The possibility that Ethan had been hiding something trivial or even insignificant, but never this. Olivia was a part of his past. A past he had never mentioned. A past that he had kept hidden from her. Ethan took another deep breath, his voice trembling as he continued. Olivia and I got married young. We thought we had our whole lives ahead of us. But life didn't turn out the way we expected. Lily sat in stunned silence as Ethan began to reveal more. She could hear the pain in his voice as he spoke of his life with Olivia, of the slow unraveling of their marriage, the toll it had taken on both of them, and the heartbreak he had endured. He spoke of the illness that had slowly taken Olivia away from him, and how, in the end, he had stayed by her side, even when she no longer recognized him. I stayed with her until the end, Ethan whispered, his eyes filled with grief. Even when she didn't know who I was anymore, I stayed. I couldn't leave her. She needed me, and I wasn't going to walk away. Lily's heart ached as she listened to his words. She had known that Ethan was a man who wore his emotions close to his chest. But this pain, this trauma, was something she had never anticipated. It was raw, it was real, and it was more than she had ever imagined. Ethan's voice broke as he spoke of the years he had spent trying to piece himself back together after Olivia's death. How he had been lost, unable to move forward, unable to let go of the grief that had consumed him. I never expected to fall in love again, Ethan murmured, his voice soft, almost a whisper. But when I met you, Lily, it was different. I didn't expect it, but I fell in love with you. And that love is real. Lily, it's real. Lily felt a knot in her throat as she listened to him. She had wanted answers, but now, hearing the depth of his pain, she didn't know what to think. She was torn between the emotions of betrayal and understanding, her heart heavy with a mixture of hurt and compassion. Lily sat in silence for a long moment, processing everything Ethan had just shared. Her mind was a whirlwind of emotions, hurt, confusion, but also a deep sense of understanding. She had never imagined that the man she had married carried such a heavy burden. The grief, the silence, the years of trauma, it had all been buried deep inside him, hidden away from her, and yet, despite everything, he had chosen to love her. I understand now, Lily said, her voice steady but gentle. I can't imagine the pain you've gone through, Ethan, but I also can't pretend that it doesn't hurt me that you kept this from me. We're supposed to be a team, right? Partners? We should be able to share everything, even the hard stuff. Ethan nodded, his eyes filled with gratitude and sorrow. I know, Lily, I should have told you from the start. I was afraid. I thought you might not be able to handle it. But I want you to know that you are my present, my future. The past is just that, the past. Lily reached out and took his hand, squeezing it gently. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think we can get through this together. As they sat there, the weight of the past slowly began to lift. It wouldn't be simple, and the road ahead would still be filled with difficult moments. But one thing was certain, their love, built on honesty and understanding, was stronger than any secret. Together, they would face the future with trust, empathy, and the courage to keep moving forward. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming life stories. See you in the next video.